Yeah, hi friends, welcome to Vikakarla channel. And today we are going to discuss about solid principles in Java. So whenever you are developing any application, any microservice application, this is the base for any developing any application, any web application. So what are the solid principles and what is the dry principle and what is the KISS principle? KISS principle, and how we are going to apply these principles when we are developing an application, when you are designing a microservice application, how you are implementing your software components like your entity classes, your service classes, your pojo classes, your front end dtos, your back end pojos, and all software components, how we are going to design by applying these principles. So we are going to see now. So what are the solid principles? SOLID, solid. So what it is acronym solid. So what it stands for? So we will see. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So fine. Yeah. So this is the solid principles, solid and dry and kiss principles in Java. So each and every letter which will extended by one separate principle. For example, S is there, right? So single responsibility principle, and O for open and closed principle, open closed principle. L for Lisco substitution principle, I for interface aggregation principle, and D for dependency inversion principle. And we have two more principles also, dry principle and kiss principle. Dry means don't repeat yourself, and kiss means keep it simple, stupid, which means keep it simple. Your code, when you're writing your code, keep it simple. So how we are applying these principles when you are writing your software components, we will see now, right? Single responsibility principle, right? Single responsibility principle. So the single responsibility principle, first of all, single responsibility principle. So whenever you are designing your software components, that component, make sure that component should be have one single responsibility. It is only one and only reason to change that class. So it should not have multiple responsibilities. So that is the main the main statement of this principle, single responsibility principle. What are the examples of that single principle? So in this class, I'm going to give all the principles abbreviations how we are going to implement. For the next classes, I will give each and every responsibility with examples. Okay. So who are not subscribing my channel, please subscribe it. So whenever you are subscribing my channel, you will get a notifications whenever I am uploading these kind of new technologies or these kind of new technology information in my channel, right? So please like and subscribe and share my videos to your friends wherever it is applicable, right friends? Okay, coming to our discussion, single responsibility principle. So single responsibility principle, your software component should be your software component should be only one responsibility, and also one and only reason to be changed. So what are the examples of this? So for example, take a entity database entity take a database entity or database poso entity or poso, right? So what entity will have? Entity will have all the properties. For example, employee entity will have employee name, employee name, employee address, employee ID, employee phone number, all the employee details, right? So what is the responsibility of this pojo? It is having a fields and setters and getter method. Simply whatever the data coming from the before coming from the service layer, it will hold the data, and for the saving into the database, saving into the database, it will save the database, right? It hold the data and it will give the data whenever it is saving, right? So this is the single responsibility principle. And coming to open and closed principle, so what this principle states? So open and closed principle, your software component should be open for extension, and it should be open for extension and closed for the modification. So whenever you are defining, whenever you're designing your application, so your software components like services or utility classes, so it should be open for extension and closed for the modification. So whatever you're defining a methods inside that interface or inside that class or inside that component, it should be extension which we can implement an interface or we can extend a class. For example, whatever we have in the structs we have a dispatch in our framework we have a dispatch objet, right? So take an example of struts framework. We have an execute method. So in that execute method we are implementing our logic to return our action forward to the particular response to particular JSP page, right? And coming to any API, so not API. Whenever you are implementing any implementation for any interface method which is already implemented in which is already defined in interface, so we cannot change the signature of that method, but we can implement that method, we can provide the implementation for that, right? So it is comes under open and closed principle. So whenever you are whenever you are implementing any kind of software component, we, the implementer who are the implementing that your interface, they cannot change your method signatures inside that software component, whether it is an interface, whether it is a class, but they can provide the implementation for that. They can provide the implementation for that. If it is in a class, they can extend, they can override the methods, whatever the methods you are having in a parent class. If it is an interface, whatever the methods is there in an implementation, from the implementation class, they can provide the implementation for that, which means they cannot change the defined method signature. The principle states that open for the extension, closed for the modifications. So this is what open closure principle. And coming to Liskov substitution principle, Liskov substitution principle. So whatever you are defining a software components, whatever you are implementing a software components, which should be substitutable for the parent type, which should be substitutable for the base type. Your derived class methods, which will be substitutable for the base class or parent class, which means the same family or the same category of software components which will be extendable, which will be we can implement. For example, take an example of vehicle. Vehicle is an interface. In the vehicle we have an engine method. Some methods are there. Engine method is there, move wheels method is there, and engine implementation, wheels implementation, body method is there. Some methods related to some functions related to vehicle, right? Vehicle can extend, vehicle can implement, car can implement vehicle, right? Car is also vehicle. Bike can implement vehicle. A truck can implement vehicle. Bus can implement vehicle. So this all comes under vehicle family, right? We cannot implement bird can implement vehicle, right? We cannot implement bird, and we cannot implement any banking class. We cannot implement any banking related classes, which means the deriving classes should be substitutable. The same family of classes we can extend or we can implement. This is what Liskov substitution principle, right? The same family classes will be substitutable, right? Next, interface segregation principle. So what is an interface segregation principle? Whenever you are defining a software components in terms of interfaces, or whenever the client will provide the interface should not force to implement all the derived methods from the interface. So whatever you need, those methods only can implement. So otherwise you should not force to the implement to the all the methods from the interfaces. So likewise you need to define how we are going to define those methods from the interface. We will see whenever we come to the interface segregation principle. And dependency inversion principle. So what is dependency inversion principle? So whenever you are defining a software components, the dependency inversion principle. So you mean to derive your software components should be loosely coupled. So we can achieve this dependency inversion principle by implementing dependency IOC, Spring IOC, right? Dependency inversion control, right? So by using whenever you are coming to here, I will explain what is dependency inversion principle. When how we are loosely coupled. the software components by using this dependency inversion principle, we will see. And next, drive principle. Don't repeat yourself, which means whatever you are writing the code, whatever you are writing the code when you are when you are developing an application, don't repeat yourself. The code should not be repeatable. If you are writing any the same method in the two times, the same method in a two times with the two purposes, but the method should be moved to the some utility class, right? So like that you can reduce the redundancy whenever you are writing the same kind of methods in a different places in the same class or same in a different classes. You need to move those kind of repeated methods or reusable components in a utility class. From that utility class you can use wherever it is applicable, wherever it is needed. So this is what, don't repeat yourself. And last principle, KISS principle. Keep it simple and stupid, which means you don't write a code in a stupid way. Which means you need to keep it simple. Which means your constants, you are defining a constant in multiple classes, right? So whenever you want to change your application, you need to change all the classes wherever you are defining a constant in all the classes, right? So you should not write, you should not define like that. You need to define all the constant in a constant file. So whenever you are changing this value, the value will be applicable to all the user classes, right? So like keep it simple. So the keep it simple, which will be comes under, which we can use dry principle also. Don't repeat yourself, which means all whatever the redundancy methods, whatever the redundancy variables, whatever the redundancy blocks, you need to keep it simple. You need to keep it simple. You don't repeat again, and keep it simple. You need to maintain utility classes. You need to maintain some constant classes with the public static variables, right? All the public static variables will be accessible throughout the application. So whenever you are changing these values from the constant place or constant classes or those static variables, public static variables, those values will be automatically changed throughout the application. You don't need to enter into all the classes. You don't need to change the values. So like that, your code should be keep it simple. So whenever you are applying all these principles, these are the basic things whenever you are developing any microservice application. Later you can apply all the design patterns, Microservice design patterns, 12 factor methodology, which we'll discuss later. So this is the base funda whenever you are developing an application. So your application should be readable. Your application should be deployable. Your application should be robustable. Your application should be maintainable. So whenever you are considering all these factors, you need to define, you need to develop all these factors, right? So our next class will be single responsibility principle with examples, right? So thanks friends. Please subscribe my channel. Whenever I'm uploading these kind of videos in future, you will get a notification, right? So don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you very much. Thanks for your time. So we will meet next video. Okay. Thank you friends.